There are only so many chord progressions in this world. There are only so many ways you can make a song with your beats, your chords, that kind of thing. Eventually, a couple of songs start going to sound similar. Dude, it's been 3 months since the last time I did an intro. I thought I would have done it better than that. I guess not. Anyway, today's episode of Behind the Board. Wait a minute. We're doing Behind the Board again? I thought the series was dead. Yeah. We're back. I know everyone thought this series was dead, but I have a reason to explain stuff to people again. Dude, let's be real here. Who's gonna want to watch you explain a bunch of musical stuff? We'll find out. In this episode of Behind the Board, I'm gonna show y'all how I turn this and this.
I wear my black suit.
This.
I wear my black suit.
So Behind the Board.
My intros are quickly becoming a running gag. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Board. And in today's episode, I am telling you guys, or I'm going to be attempting to tell you guys, what is a mashup? A mashup is a combination of two songs that have a similar, well, nowadays people would probably say vibe. But what that means would be same groove, same key, same tempo. A groove is the style. It can be a beat. It's not necessarily a beat on its own, but a groove can be considered a beat. Tempo, obviously the speed of the song, and key plays an important factor as well. Key is the easiest to adjust. Key, you can change keys really easily. Tempo, not as easy, but you can still change tempo pretty easily. Groove, that is hard to change. So when you're picking out two songs to mash up, you want something with a similar groove. I'm listening to a lot of Thomas Rhett. So what I picked up on is his two songs, Die a Happy Man and Marry Me. They're similar. Even though Die a Happy Man is in the key of D and Marry Me is in the key of D sharp. That's easy to fix. And make sure the chords are similar. That's what I mean when I say groove. Groove means beat and chords and just the overall musicality of it. So the piano is this. That is a very, very common chord progression. Now, if you don't know what a chord progression is, a progression is just a series of chords. And the chords that we're playing, this is in the key of C, so I'm going to try and... F, C, A minor, G. That is called a 4-1-6-5 progression. The numbers, what those mean, that's a little complicated. It's a little theory. If you want, I can get into that. What that means, if you're taking a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, you number them. 1 is C, 2 is D, 3 is E, F is 4, G is 5, 6 is A, etc. Then you go to the diatonic chords. Diatonic meaning in the scale. So for each of the notes. So you have the C chord, C, E, G, D minor, D, F, A, E minor, E, G, B. Very helpful if you go to piano to demonstrate this. And F, F, A, C, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F, and then you're back home with C, E, G. So the progression is F, C, A minor, G. A very common chord progression, so if you find more than one song with that, that's very helpful. And so, yeah, that's basically what a progression is. Now I'm going to go to our first vocal here. I tracked both of these this morning. I wear my black suit, black tie out in the back, out down one shot of whiskey, straight out of the flask. I try to make it through without crying so nobody sees. Yeah, Yeah, she won't get married. Yeah, she don't wanna marry me. There we go. It's basically the entire song. And that's the beauty of a song being in 4 chords. It's simple, it's repeatable, and plus, it's mash-upable. I just made that up, but y'all can repeat that all week if you want. So, now let's take a look at the second song we're working with here. Die a Happy Man. The first one was Marry Me. These are both by Thomas Rhett, which make it interesting. If I never get to see the northern lights. Now, you're probably thinking, whoa, SJ, these don't sound the same. This isn't the Die a Happy Man I remember. And you're right. The point of a mashup, we're not getting the piano exact, because it's very rare that we're going to have 2 songs with the exact same chord progression. Not impossible, because you can't copyright a chord progression, so there are a lot of songs out there with 2 of them being the exact same. But you can mess around with the musicality of one of them if you're trying to fit it into another one. What I did for this mashup was I made it Marry Me. Down 1 shot of whiskey. And added Die a Happy Man on top of it. What that means is Marry Me is the main focal point. Die a Happy Man is like the accent, the harmony. So Die a Happy Man with something like this. Never get to see the northern lights. That's why it's quieter too. Never get to see the Eiffel Tower at night. But if all I got your hands in my hand, baby, I could die. Because that's not the chord progression for Die a Happy Man at all. But since we are adding Die a Happy Man to my version of Marry Me by Thomas Rhett, we can kind of play around with the chord structure of Die a Happy Man a little bit. Not much, like we don't want to completely throw it off, but as long as they have the same groove, meaning rhythmic patterns, same key, which we can transpose if need be. Basically, the beginning and the end points are the same, and it still sounds enough like the original song. You can do it. Now, if we did all these together, it'd sound like this. This is the mashup right here. I wear my black suit, black side out in the back, out down one shot of whiskey, straight out of flies. I try to make it through crying so nobody sees. Yeah, she won't get married. She don't wanna marry me. There you have it. That's basically how a mashup works. You take 2 songs that are really similar in key, doesn't really matter, in mainly tempo and the musicality or the groove of it. And if something needs to be rearranged to fit the main song you're doing, or rearrange it just a tad, just make sure the other song could fit into it and it still sounds somewhat like the original. And also, pick one song to mainly shine and have the other one kind of accent it. Because if I had both of these playing at the exact same time, meaning similar volume and everything, this would get weird quickly. Sound like this. If I never get to see the northern lights, if I never get to see the Eiffel Tower at night, try to make it through crying so nobody sees. Yeah, she won't get married. She don't wanna marry me. That still sounded good because I had it panned. If I didn't have them panned, if I had them normal, try to make them as normal as I can, it would sound like these 2 songs are fighting for our attention here. I feel like there's like 2 siblings. I wear if I never get to see the northern lights. It's a lot. So that's why we pan them. Like I could have hard pan meaning take it all the way to the left, all the way to the right. Make it through crying so nobody sees. Yeah, she won't get married. But that's a little bit too much. So that's why I made the panning a little bit to the middle, right around here. This isn't exact, obviously. Out down if I never get to see the Eiffel Tower at night, I try to make it through crying so nobody Yeah, she won't get mad. Also, another thing to keep in mind, look at the waves. Put these on record just so you can see the waves bigger. You can easily tell which song is louder, and that's this one right here. So that's why I turned the fader down on this one just a tad. Man, I haven't explained stuff in a while and it shows. But yeah, that is basically how a mashup is done. I took the piano and the original for Marry Me by Thomas Rhett. Out in the back, out down one shot of whiskey. Made that sound good, and then added Die a Happy Man on top of it. And yeah. It makes some interesting harmonies, and that's what's cool about a mashup too. So, if you're able to find two songs that work well together, mash them up. Who knows? Could be amazing. Well, that's it for this episode of Behind the Board. If you want me to explain anything else, as always, leave them in the comments. I will see you guys another time.